We've gathered a group of industry leaders from the technology and design community at Planet Innovation in Melbourne to judge some of the best innovations for the year in Australia and New Zealand. We're back again looking at some of the most incredible innovations. And the best ones that we'll pick today are going to go forward to that final episode where we'll pick the top 10 innovations for the year.
Around the table, we've got some of the best creative minds in Australia. We've got product designers, we've got awards facilitators and entrepreneurs.
Over the years, I've put my fair share of leftovers into click-clack containers. But I've never seen click-clack kitchen utensils until now.
Every household object around us is designed, some better than others. But when a brand enlists the skills of an experienced industrial designer, the results often speak for themselves. So Phil, David, you guys are very well known in the Australian design industry independently, but I believe this is the first project you've worked on together.
It is. So we've got a new design consultancy called Alchemy. This is the first project that we worked on together and we're thrilled with the result. What we were really looking for is that perfect balance of usability and aesthetics. We looked at a lot of competitors and we found that, for example, the handle was so short that it would dig into your hand when you were peeling. A very important aspect of using a kitchen tool is the balance. So we've chosen a premium metal end cap that looks beautiful, allows you to hang the product, but also gives you that lovely balance in the hand. So when you're performing, a task such as this, it just becomes very easy to do.
We obviously start with a lot of research and testing the existing products. But what we really try and do very quickly is get pen on paper and start sketching. From there, we like to jump straight into 3D CAD. One of the great gifts to designers, of course, is 3D printing. We can go from the CAD package and within 8 hours you've got a product that you can actually hold in your hand.
Oh, look at this. You've missed your calling.
Yeah, it might be a new career for me, I think.
Oh, that smells sensational. Job well done, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
For me, the really rewarding aspect of good design is that innovation reveals itself with use over time. A really well-designed object not only looks good, but it delights with its clever details. This next innovation re-looked at the category and took a leaf from nature to produce something that really fits into our contemporary well-being market.
The thing I love about being an industrial designer is that we can get our inspiration from literally anywhere. Paul, I thought we were talking about massages. What are we doing down on the beach?
Look, I thought I'd show you where I got the inspiration. A lot of it comes from nature. This is shaped like a pebble, but in addition to that, we wanted to have other materials. We're utilising, for example, timber. So we're using that on the base, using bamboo, which is obviously a very environmental friendly product. And the other things we want to do, we actually want to take materials off the beach. Things that people don't like. PET is a great example. We're recycling that and turning it into that.
It looks beautiful. It's beautiful to hold. I reckon we go give it a go.
What we're trying to do is actually mimic a professional. Just the way she's using those hands, I wanted to create a shape and a feeling almost the same. Feel that? How good is that?
Incredible.
So one of the other key elements is that we want to be able to use it in people's hair. So you've got all the entanglement issues that you want to resolve.
I've got a big mop of hair. You're telling me I can actually use this thing and give myself
Absolutely.
a scalp massage, and it's not going to tangle my hair?
No. So we had to make it waterproof so you can use it with oils and shampoos, and that in itself is an engineering challenge.
And on top of it all, it actually feels incredible. The global wellness industry is a $3 trillion market, and it's really great to see thoughtful, considered Australian design massaging its way into that space. Planet Innovation's Sam Lanyon admired this innovation from Melbourne-based Blackmagic Design.
This dynamic Australian company is making film and television equipment really, really high-end, much more accessible to creatives worldwide.
You've probably seen this kind of outdoor broadcast setup somewhere like the footy. It costs around $150,000. And something like this for a typical studio setup, around $75,000. And this is your typical run-and-gun news broadcast camera. It's around $20,000. But the thing is, these are Ursa broadcast cameras. They're doing the same job for around $3,500 for this one, $7,000 for this one, and $9,000 for this one.
The problem we had with the TV industry is it's an electronic medium and the equipment costs a lot of money. You can't be creative if you can't afford to actually buy the equipment. What we really wanted to do is turn the television industry from being an equipment-based industry and really very expensive into something that was more of a creative industry. People can now afford to do television that could never have done it before. They could start off small and then, within a few months or even years do high-end Hollywood-type films.
In what way?
Well, you can transform this camera from being a small camera. You can even put a photo lens on it if you need to. In this case, we've put a studio viewfinder on top, which is much larger, and we've got this big fibre optic module on the back, which transforms the camera into a studio camera. So what that lets us do is we can power this camera and connect it up to 2 kilometres away from a giant broadcast truck like this behind me using a fibre optic cable. Normally on a live production, each camera will be following a different part of the action, like say a sporting event, and then what this truck does is cut it all together, and that's what's broadcast to people at home. And you can see that's how a small camera can actually then become quite big. That's what empowering somebody really is. They can go as high and as big as they possibly want to do. It's purely up to their own creativity.
What I see here is a company-wide attitude to do things differently, not to accept things the way they've always been done. This is not just a game-changing TV camera. This is a company-wide attitude enabling innovation in everything they do.
We've gathered a group of industry leaders to judge some of the best design innovations for the year. Edward Curry of Form Designs praised our next project with the potential to impact businesses worldwide.
Do you know how time is money? Well, this next innovation saves time and money. Thousands of hours of time and money in workplaces around Australia.
Innovation often follows observation, taking note of a task that's repeated time and time again and finding ways to do it better. And in some cases, saving lives in the process.
So what we have here, Terry, is a standard switchboard that is in every business within Australia.
A fuse box like I have at home.
The challenge is with business, you need to test them twice yearly. So there's a huge downtime for business across Australia, about 4.1 million hours, and that's only staff downtime. But also the hidden part is the safety, okay? So when the electrician takes the panel off, he's actually exposing himself to live power and potential arc flash.
Excuse me, everybody. Could I please get you to save your work?
So Wayne, this is the human face of the disruption.
Correct. So all of these people need to shut down what they're doing, save it. Will has to get under the desk to test the safety switches, but now he needs to walk back to the switchboard. He's got to make sure that the safety switch is turned off, and then he's got to turn it back on and come back.
And he's got to do that every time.
Now you can see there's a really big impost and a really big cost to business just to be compliant. And that's why rapid test was invented, as you can see in the bottom of the switchboard right there.
So it just goes into the existing switchboard.
You still need an electrician to install them, okay, but after that, you can test away yourself. So we're actually doing the test exactly like an electrician would, but we're not removing the cover. We're testing the safety switches safely at the push of a button.
Is that the circuitry going by itself?
Correct, yes. So we're actually just talking to the module down there via Wi-Fi. It's recording all the data that they need to for a compliance. So from a productivity point of view, we're doing it 90% faster and a lot more safely.
Design is not always about beautiful objects. In this instance, the innovation is about significant change that's going to have a really positive impact on an entire industry.
Vince Frost of Frost Collective loved this simple yet genius innovation.
I remember as a father chasing my kids around the house at nail clipping time. They were scared, they were crying, and I felt incredibly bad about this. This woman has invented this incredible, simple idea that should have been designed years ago.
Just pulling out a traditional set of nail clippers can send a child into a meltdown. It's stressful for the entire family. Julia Christie knew there had to be a better way, and she set out to create a solution.
The idea came from just pure necessity. My son, when he was born, I used a pair of clippers to clip his nails and ended up cutting him. And when I started asking my friends and family, you know, is it just me? Am I the worst mum in the world? And everyone was like, no, 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 it's really common. Everyone does it, don't worry. And I thought, hang on a minute, everybody does this? This isn't good enough.
So Julia, tell me about the baby nail snail. Why is it different?
Oh, it's so different in so many ways. But the number one feature is this recessed V-shaped blade, which glides across the nail. So there's no clipping or cutting down or nasty noises or anything like that. I wanted to have a multifunction tool. So it's got the trimming blade at the front, the nail file underneath in the tummy there, and it's got an under nail cleaner in the tail. But the lovely thing about a nail snail is, because it's a snail, it's so appealing to children. I got a hungry little snail, and it goes num, 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 num. hungry little snail goes num, 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 num.
I wish nail trimming at my household had been that calm and gorgeous. That was really time with your daughter.
Yeah, it's that moment of connection. You can hold them and hug them and sing with them, and it becomes this lovely healthcare moment rather than, you know, holding them down and, oh God, it's so scary. Like, it's lovely. It's lovely. In my household, nail trimming is a treat.
So Nail Snail is so simple to use. Anyone can do it?
That's right.
I want to put this to the test.
Great.
I have Veronica and her gorgeous baby girl and Russ the gardener. So looking at that, you're achieving that with no problems at all.
That was surprisingly easy.
So here we are with the final results. I think we have a perfect manicure, Russ. Nail Snail is the result of challenging the way that things have always been done. Not only is Nail Snail a clever little innovation, but it's solving an age-old battle happening in family households around the world.
Peter Friedman of Rode Microphones commended this project for their adaptive audio experience.
Everybody hears differently. These guys allow you, through an app, to adjust it to suit yourself. That is amazing.
Surely the way to get the best out of your headphones is to make them your headphones. Wow. James, you're the brains behind these incredible headphones. How did you come to design this incredible innovation?
Well, it actually combines my two great loves of medicine and music. I've been a musician my whole life and then went through medical school, and a buddy of mine came to me and said, I think we can make music better for people, and I think we need to teach people about their hearing.
Some music playing in these now. I mean, they sound really good, but they don't sort of sound as good as what I expected.
That's because they're tailored to me, which is going to be quite different from how you actually hear. I paid a lot of attention to the design, to the materials, its market-leading battery life, noise-cancelling, Bluetooth, all of those elements, and then the hearing test is the benefit. So when you put these on, we then give you a nice, simple hearing test using the app, where all you have to do is say, I can hear it, or I can't hear it.
And at the end of this process, I now have a set of headphones that are specifically tailored to my very own ears. What about people with severe hearing loss?
We've been able to register with the National Disability Insurance Scheme and the Hearing Services Program, meaning if you qualify, the government may actually fund your use of these headphones.
Elliot, tell us about how these headphones have changed your life.
Well, I've got a hearing aid and a cochlear implant, and I love music. I listen to music every day. I used to listen to a lot of music that had a lot of bass because I could really only hear the lower frequencies. Whereas now with the Delia, I'm able to listen to a whole genre of music, and it's amazing. They're an absolute pleasure to wear, especially for long periods of time. And when you have a cochlear implant or a hearing aid, they fit perfectly.
Great design is driven by passion. By combining his love and knowledge of music and medicine, James has created a product that sings to each of us differently. Our team of industry leaders are judging some of the best design innovations for the year in Australia and New Zealand.
What I really like about MicroX is that they've invented a new way of generating X-rays. And what that does is it promises to revolutionise healthcare globally.
You've probably had an X-ray, and I'm guessing it was clunky and intimidating. Well, all of that is about to change.
There are two options for people that need an X-ray. Either they get wheeled down in their bed to an X-ray room, or they use conventional X-ray machines that already exist that perform the same function as this. However, they are rather large devices. They weigh 400 or 500 or 600 kilograms, and they're motorised driving around hospital. So we designed this machine very much with the customer focus in mind about how they were going to use it. So it's very easy to manoeuvre. There are no motors. We have a brand new technology for generating X-rays. That's enabled us to take conventional tubes that are around 23 to 25 kilograms and shrink them down to 1.5 kilos. So it's very easy to manoeuvre. There are no motors. We have ambitions to place these in ambulances, for example, for stroke detection. Because it's so small, we could potentially put one in every ambulance. A particularly good application of this car is in paediatric imaging. It's very quiet. The brakes don't make any noise at all. We can apply different paediatric skins with different scenes that just makes the whole experience a little bit more friendly.
Turns X-rays into fun.
Yes. We wanted to bring manufacturing excellence into our medical device manufacturing environment. So we approached Holden, who were closing their facility in Elizabeth, and asked them if we could basically poach their best people, and they were very welcoming.
Automotive is known as an efficient industry. Medical is, the opposite. So we were able to bring in that sort of knowledge, and the guys here that come from medical were able to impart that knowledge back on us. So.
This machine is clearly innovative. It's going to make having an X-ray kinder, gentler. But what really excites me is how portable it is and where this technology might go in the future.
You can design security, and not everybody in life has good intentions. This next product is brilliant, simple, quick, and effective.
I thought fake IDs were small change in the modern crime world. It turns out I've been very naive. Shez, surely fake IDs just about kids trying to get into pubs.
It's actually a lot bigger than that. It's people going to banks and getting credit cards. It's people going to a mobile phone store and walking out with a brand new iPhone. It's people going to large retailers and coming out with a new television. In fact, the Australian Crime Commission estimates that identity theft costs $1.6 billion a year to the Australian economy.
You're kidding.
Here you go, Robert. Which of these do you think are fake?
My goodness, they actually all look pretty good. How does someone even go about getting one of these?
People are basically going on the dark web, and there's a sophisticated industry in China that's actually manufacturing them.
So you've given me a little gift box. Well, you've got to be kidding.
So that's how they're coming into Australia, different ways, hidden inside packages, make it really hard for authorities to actually find them. Effectively, we've got a pretty advanced piece of software that looks at different characteristics that are invisible to the human eye. And then what it does with our algorithm is it works out which of them are legitimate IDs and which are fake.
Okay, I think I'm ready to tell you which one of these is fake.
Go for it.
It's got to be this guy.
Yeah.
He's about 10 years old, I reckon.
He is a little young to have an ID.
Oh, there we go. It's fake.
It's that easy.
Which one's a good ID?
Well, Robert, I sold you a bit of a red herring. All of these IDs here are all fake.
You're kidding.
They come in so many different variations and flavours, and you can understand how is the average person in a retail environment supposed to be able to work out which of these is real and which is fake.
No chance. They are way more sophisticated than I could ever imagine. Scantech is small and sits quietly on any shop counter, but it's more than that. It's the front line of defence, stopping fake IDs from being used, but more importantly, it protects your identity.
We're down to the final 2 projects for this episode of Australia by Design Innovations.
Campervanners and caravanners know how important it is to monitor the amenities that they need for a long trip. This device delivers that solution. It gives them the peace of mind.
Don't tell my wife, but I've always loved the idea of doing the great Australian road trip. But caravans and campers these days are full of technology that's a bit complicated. These guys reckon they've made it simple.
Red Vision is your total vehicle management system for all of the electronics in your caravan or camper.
Oh, sorry. What does that mean? What does it do?
It means it gives you information about your battery, your water tanks, all on your phone, and you can control everything from there as well.
So you make them here, obviously?
All in Lonsdale, South Australia. We engineer, design, manufacture, and ship them out the door.
So tell me, you gave me the tech talk. What can this thing really do?
Well, while we're having a chat about it, Rob, why don't I make you a cup of tea, mate?
Are you kidding?
So I've just turned the inverter on in the trailer, which is powering the kettle, so that'll boil the kettle.
That just got turned on?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you got there?
Well, all this gear...
So this is what your kit's replacing?
Takes it all out.
So all of that gets replaced with this?
So you can lose kilos and kilos of copper and components by using Red Vision. So this is the display that goes inside the caravan or the camper somewhere. Effectively, it's mirroring what the phone is doing.
Okay, so all the controls for whatever I want to actually manage, kettle, water, whatever,
yep,
it's through here.
All in one place, so you don't have to have multiple displays positioned around the van.
Has it got a call the kids button? By stripping away the complexities of the modern world, Red Vision has actually given us something really precious, more time to enjoy things like the bush telly.
Activated light facade is a very, very clever system of LED display. It allows you to do graphics, it allows you to do an artistic display, it's upgradable for the future, so it's future-proof. It truly is amazing and very, very cost-effective.
This project started as a way to mark the 50th anniversary of AMG. They wanted something special and they needed it to pop. But there was one problem.
The problem was that the client was celebrating a 50th anniversary and they called us at 49 years and 8 months.
So you had 4 months to come up with your design innovation?
We had to create a landmark. It had to look fast while it was standing still. So the ideal opportunity was to use light to enhance the brand and make it go wow. So we used anything that we could to model and test, because a very short timeline to design something. And it had to have a whole heap of control gear and adaptable wiring and 2.2 kilometres of it. So there's a bit of stuff to go in this, and we had to actually plan it so that it could be done quickly and easily on site, because we only had, as you say, 4 months, but after we designed it, we only had 2 months.
So nothing like this existed. You had to invent it from nothing, essentially, huh?
And we had no time, so it had to be standard things. That then ended up with the final installation being cheaper. We didn't have custom things, we had standard things. But it was the thinking and assembling of all those things and working with a large team locally and internationally that I guess was the challenge, or the great result.
Do you think it's fair to say this is rather an aggressive building?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really aggressive building. It's brutal and raw and racy to match the cars that are built for the circuit.
It's amazing how such an innovative design solution came together so quickly, and what I really like about the technology powering this solution is that it can be deployed anywhere in the world. So watch out, it may be coming to a facade near you soon.
And now, the 2 projects that will continue on to the best of the best final later in the series. From this episode, the judges have chosen the Nail Snail and Blackmagic's Ursa camera. For more information on any of today's innovations, visit australiabydesign.com.au.